Slipways is a misunderstood beast. While overall reviews are sat at very positive on Steam, recent reviews keep swaying in and out of mostly positive, and the reason for that, in the vast majority of cases that I've seen, people are buying this because they think it's something it's not. This is down to two things, I think. One, the game looks like it should be a 4X space game, and secondly, the first line of the blurb on Steam says, Slipways takes the space grand strategy genre and condenses the best parts of it down by throwing away all of the micromanagement and the steep learning curve. It does go on to clarify this by saying the result is a unique blend of the strategy and puzzle genres, but by that point you've already conjured visions of Masters of Orion 2 in people's minds. Probably, I don't know. It depends if you're as old as I am. Slipways is, in fact, a puzzle game with the veneer of an expansive space sim. It's about logistics. It's about tying knots in time and space in order to deliver specific goods to specific places within set rules. It's Transport Tycoon crossed with mini motorways. If what I've just said sounds boring to you, then I'm afraid I'll have to ask you to continue watching so I can try and convince you otherwise. I bought the game last year and have been meaning to make a review of it since then, but I never quite knew how to explain the game without making it sound like a spreadsheet. Let's boil down the basic game mechanics. You start off with absolutely no knowledge of the universe you're inhabiting. In order to explore, you send out satellites that will ping planets, allowing you to see just what resources they hold and whether or not they're going to be of any use to you. Once you've got a suitable selection of planets uncovered, then you can start planning. For the most part, you'll want to start off by colonizing somewhere, but to colonize, you'll need resources, and those resources will need people, or other resources. And while the rules of what can be produced where is relatively simple on each planet, there are two big problems. One, the slipways that you use to connect these planets only cover a certain distance, and two, slipways cannot overlap. You'll spend a good chunk of your time merely drafting up options. By selecting a planet and right-clicking on any of the potential choices, the game will pencil in your network and show which planets either accept those resources or provide the necessary bits that you'll need. Once you've got a plan in place, you can install these options properly and get things started. And then you do that until you have an entire universe of space lines! Fulfilling a planet's basic needs is one thing, but planets also have stages. Get your humans all the basic resources they need to live, and then they'll want luxury goods, for instance. Or maybe you'll see that a mining colony now needs water to expand. Expanding things in this way typically nets you more output as a result. The overall purpose for doing all of this, though, is to increase the happiness of each planet, and that planet's happiness is based first and foremost on import and export. If you can import everything they require and export everything they produce, then you're on your way to a planet full of very happy customers. Depending on how your brain works, this will all sound either super easy or wildly complicated, but there's another wrinkle: technology. You'll need to set up a research station in order to bring in new technologies that will help you later in the game, and these research stations are a puzzle all in themselves. Not only do they need a resource to study, but they also need people to study them, and each research station can only study one particular thing. If you can get more than one of that particular thing, or more people to the research station, then you get more technology points each turn. Finding the perfect place to slot in your laboratories is absolutely vital if you want to unlock late game technology, such as these slipways that allow you to build underneath other slipways. And believe me, you really want these delicious new tools. If you thought there were space lines going everywhere before, you ain't seen nothing. The overall goal in any given game of slipways is, as I've said, happiness. Happiness too low, you lose. Happiness very good, you get a high score. Then you start again. Each game takes roughly 20 to 40 minutes depending on whether or not you've been stricken by analysis paralysis every 12 seconds. It's important to make your choices wisely, because every action you take in the game pushes time forward. With every game ending after a set amount of time, and every planet reacting to its wants and needs during each time movement, well, it's vital that you keep everything as balanced as you possibly can. These are the very basics of the game, but built on top of this are tweaks to the formula, giving the game a huge amount of longevity if the core of its design is what you're looking for. Different alien races with different techs and perks that you can pick before each game, a campaign mode that throws in all sorts of scenarios that you have to contend with, an endless mode The developers have really gone to town on making this game as expansive as possible, considering its relatively simple core gameplay. But the standard game mode is where I've spent most of my time. And let me tell you, a lot of time has been spent on this game. I've had my Steam account for 17 years, and Slipways is my 25th most played game. Just to remind you, I bought it last year. It's not going to be for everyone, and it's probably not going to be for the people who accidentally bought it thinking it was something else, but Slipways is a wonderful, misunderstood, beautiful game that deserves to be checked out by anyone with even a passing interest in logical puzzle solving. Learn to love the space line.